All right, I want to lead into lesson 3 on closing. So we've done our voicemail, we've done our emails, and now you actually have a live person on the phone. And remember that you are selling a specialized product, not a commodity. So you really want to make sure that they don't want to like try and cut you to the chase and say, well, how much does it cost? How much does it cost? You don't want to discuss pricing. You save pricing to the end. They need to understand the benefit that you offer, the value that you bring, because pricing alone means nothing. So this is really the beginning of the close. And that is, what's the goal? The goal is to get an appointment. And this is, you're going to be calling the people, you're leaving the voicemail. And then you're following up with email, okay? And when you connect, the goal is to set up an appointment. You aren't going to try and sell your product and service right out of the gate. Even if they've worked with you and it's in the past, that may be the one minor exception, but as a rule, if you've got a new product that you want to sell, I still think you should really do the due diligence and at least have the 10 minutes to explain the product to them so they can truly consider it, as opposed to you just doing a quick, 1 to 2 minute line on the phone. They're like, okay, Tom, here's the deal. And they'll be like, oh, well, I'm not interested. Well, you haven't really had the chance to really give it the full presentation. So the goal is to get a 10-minute meeting. 10 minutes on the phone will probably work very well in this economy. You could do, like I said, a 10-minute Zoom meeting if that's better, because it's actually nice if you can see people. It makes you more real. You can watch some of the body language. And like I said, you're not going to send the sales materials in advance because it is a stall tactic. And before you get off the phone, when they've agreed to give you 10 minutes, because you can say, geez, Tom, or Mary, I wasn't expecting, I'm connecting with you right now. This is so great. I've been trying. I know you're busy, but can we just set up another time when I can call back and we can talk for 10 minutes? 10 to 20 minutes is what you want to ask for. And in today's economy, I'm suggesting 10 because I think people are feeling slightly stressed and they're all trying to manage and keep their businesses going in this economy. So 10 minutes is going to be less of an evasive. What you would do also is when you have the meeting is you would have your stopwatch or your watch that you're watching. And basically when you come to the 10-minute, you just say, Mary, I said we were only going to take 10 minutes of your time. We're really at the 10-minute mark. I'm not sure that I've been able to finish this conversation with you in terms of sharing these benefits. Is there another time that we could be rescheduling another 10 minutes? Or do you think you have an additional time right now? And the odds are that they're just going to want to finish the conversation with you and they'll say, no, Eleanor, I think what you're saying is interesting. I'm not sure if I'm buying, but no, please finish explaining to me how this product's going to benefit us and help us. So when you're on that voicemail that you finally connected with them and they've given you the 10-minute appointment confirmation, basically you want to say, I will see you. You want to reconfirm verbally the appointment. It kind of like sets it into their brain. So you'll say, okay, then I will call you Wednesday at 3 o'clock on the 21st next week. And then you just might say, for my records, we're kind of also checking and updating our records here. Are your offices still located at 123 Schaumburg Lane? Now, a lot of companies have consolidated, and temporarily a lot of companies actually have divested themselves of their office space. So I just think it's good, as long as you've got them on the phone for that for that brief time, just to find out if their offices have moved. So number one, if you're actually going to eventually meet with, someone with social distancing going on at their office, you need to know if it's moved or if it's changed. So see if you can get that information. It'll be good for your files. And then you can decide, and you're basically reiterating, this is very important to give them this clause. You can decide for yourself if this is what you're looking for. People have a fear of wanting to listen to someone. They feel like they're going to be hustled. Salespeople have a very bad reputation. And right now in this economy, people are feeling a bit awkward in terms of their finances. They may not want to admit that their companies are a little bit tender right now financially. They've lost some sales. And so they don't want to be put in that position. So if you can tell someone, no, I'm just asking you to listen to me, okay? You make the decision. When you say you can decide for yourself if this is what you're looking for, then you put them back in the position of ownership and control of their life. They don't feel like that you're just coming in and ramming yourself down on them and trying to force them to consider something they're not comfortable with. You want them to know that you respect them, that this is their decision. But your obligation is to make sure that they have enough information to make an intelligent decision. If you truly believe that you know that your service can make a difference to your product and you've got a track record, you've seen it, then you need to come from that heart space to keep that in mind and keep it as a bearing on your goal and how you're going to approach the conversation and to drive you forward and not worrying about being rejected, but to remember that you want them to feel that they can make their own decision, but you also want to be able to give them enough information that they can make that decision. And then you can close by saying, I look forward to reconnecting on the 21st and have a great day. So there again, it's just very subtle. You left them a reminder of the day and the time. And they didn't object. They didn't say, oh no, well, I guess I said that, but no, I can't do that. So because you want to find that out. Okay. I would also follow up with an email the same day and just say, thank you, Mary, for the time that you gave me. Looking forward to connecting with you on Wednesday, the 21st at 3 o'clock. Have a great day. And keep the email just real short. You don't want to put in an extra information like you're trying to reiterate your benefit or your value. The most important thing right now is to focus on getting that commitment and then having them keep the commitment so that you can have that time to share with them some additional information. So here's another one. Okay, this is called the approach close. So it's another way that you're basically trying to catch up with them, but you're trying to also have them understand that you care about, what's important to them. So it's Mr. Prospect. Thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are. Please relax. I'm not here to sell you anything. All I'm going to do is to show you some of the reasons other people have bought this product and service and continue to buy it over the years. And all I ask of you is to look at all the reasons that others have bought it and judge for yourself. You can tell me one way or another where these reasons apply to you and your situation. Is that fair? So this is where you have your 10 minutes. You want the prospect to feel comfortable. You don't want him to feel you're coming right out of the gate for that 10 minutes and you're totally going to be pushing yourself at him. You're giving him the respect to say, no, I just want to be able to share some of my information with you and you're the one that's going to make the decision. Is that fair? This continues on to a second section where I go into, well, Mr. Prospect, this is at the end of after you've done your 10-minute presentation. Well, Mr. Prospect, what would you like to do at this time? And Tom would say, I have to think it over. And you say, you promised me you would give me an answer one way or the other. Now, for some people, you're going to say, oh my goodness, that's a little bit pushy. I'm not comfortable with that, Eleanor. Well, the reason it's good is you're trying to get people to cut to the chase and stop being tire kickers. And so you're saving time. So you're making them, in a very subtle way, you're making them accountable. And you're saying, well, Mary, you promised me you'd give me an answer one way or the other. From what you say, it seems that this product is just the ideal for your situation. Why don't you give it a try? So then they're going to give you feedback in terms of why it's not a good product. And that's going to help you. They're going to say, well, I guess earlier when we were talking, I thought it sounded kind of good, but the more I think about it, I just don't think it's right. And so then you can kind of get into some probing questions to find out, okay, what was it that didn't appeal to you? And because they're allowed to, to have that opinion, but you need to uncover the objections that they have to your product or your service. It may be the packaging. It may be the timing. And at a certain point, if you've gotten down to the pricing, it could be the pricing. But you need to uncover that. So these are subtle ways to do that. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to read the slide again, just going completely through it from start to finish. So we can just hear it in its entirety. I couldn't get it on one page. All right. Mary, thank you so much for your time. I know how busy you are. Just want to let you know, you can relax. I'm not here to sell you anything. All I'm going to do is show you some of the reasons other people have bought this system of ours and continue to buy it over the years. And then I want to ask you is to look at all the reasons that the other people have bought it and judge for yourself. You can tell me one way or another where these reasons apply to you and your situation and give me the feedback. Is that fair? Well, Lisa, what would you like to do at this time? Lisa says, I have to think it over. You promised me you'd give me an answer one way or another. So you promised me you'd give me some type of answer one way or the other. From what you say, it seems that this product sounds like it's very good for your organization. Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you have a product, there's a thing called the puppy dog close, which I kind of like the name. And that is, if you have a product that you can actually lend someone and say, well, you know what? Why don't I just bring you the copy machine and we'll leave it here. You try it for 30 days. If you don't like it, we'll take it back. And invariably, they will keep the product. I even saw, I think the other day on TV, that one of the automotive companies was actually saying you can try our car for 30 days and then return it. So if they're a little hesitant for whatever reason, and you can't uncover that there's a definitive reason, in other words, if it's not pricing, in the case of technology or a product, it could be that they're not familiar with it. A lot of software companies do this, which I think is a great idea, is they will offer a trial. Okay, so you can have a 30-day trial on the software platform and you can try it. And when you're selling software, a lot of people have a problem because they're just concerned that it's going to be too complex, or they're concerned about the learning curve for their employees. So try and think of a way that you can possibly encourage them to just at least try it. And you have to make that decision contingent upon your product and your profit structure. All right, so I want to share with you a couple of closes here that are relative to if you have a tough economy. So if you have a negative economy, which is what we're dealing with right now, a recession, there's some ways that you kind of have to reconsider, how am I going to try and work with this client and get them comfortable enough that they'll consider my product going forward. Because what happens in a negative economy, a lot of people just literally freak out, they're frightened, and they freeze. This is, ironically enough, is sometimes one of the worst time to freeze. So if you're freezing and your competitor is like pivoting and they're going out there and they are hitting the pavement like there's no tomorrow and banging the phones and making tons of phone calls and doing those extra 7 and 8, and they're getting through to people and you're not, then they, in this particular economy, could be getting a competitive advantage. And in some cases, once the economy turns around, it's going to be hard for you to close that gap with your competitor. I know that to be true. So let's go through this one, which will give you an idea on how to reach out to someone in a negative economy. Miss Prospect, I have to admit that I agree with you when you talk about the poor economy we are currently facing. However, years ago, I learned a very interesting truth. Successful people buy when everyone else is selling and sell when everyone else is buying. All we seem to hear lately is news about the bad economy, but I've decided not to let it bother me. Do you know what? Because many of today's fortunes were built during the tough economic times of the past. The people who built those fortunes focused on the long-term opportunity rather than the short-term opportunity and challenges. You have the same opportunity here today in looking at the long-term benefits of our service. It just makes sense to get started now, doesn't it? Now, if you're talking about a pricing structure, so in the past, if someone's having trouble coming into the market right now in this economy with your price point on your product, maybe there's a way you can work out a payment plan situation that you never had before. During one of the recessions, I kind of went through something like this myself without realizing it, believe it or not, and that is I do a lot of trade advertising. And so I was on this cycle where I would advertise. I was doing a special ad. I think it was when I came out of graduate school. It was about my announcement at Kellogg to my clients and thanking them for their support. And so I called up the ad person and I said, oh, by the way, can you do me a favor and run this ad? Well, they put it on my normal cycle. I didn't know that that was the case. And so the ad ran for, I think, 4 to 6 weeks on a weekly basis. Well, during that economy, to be honest, at that time, I'm not sure I wanted to spend that money. But what happened, ironically enough, is that all my competitors had pulled out of the trade journals. They were not advertising. I was the only one advertising. It was happening on a continuous basis because that's really the way you have to do advertising. You can't just do an ad once a month and think people are going to see it. You have to be consistent about it. But I can't tell you the people that were calling calling my phone saying, oh, congratulations, I didn't know that, and can we talk to you about something we were thinking about for our organization? So if you can in any way be creative and encourage people that in this time when they intuitively want to pull back, that this really strategically and competitively what can be one of the strongest times for them to move forward and to make progress in the marketplace, because most people are basically going to be sitting on their thumbs and their hands waiting for this to kind of pass through and get better. Here's another one for you that you can use. So also remember that, before I go on, that in a negative economy, you have to do whatever you can to help them rationalize their decision. They emotionally want to do it, but when there's a recession and a very stringent time economically, they overanalyze, because they're very, to their credit, they're very frugal about where all the pennies and nickels and dimes and dollars are going, because they know in this economy it's a little bit softer. So you have to help them rationalize the decision in their gut that they know they need to do. And you need to take a little more time working with them. And just, walk with, be with them, listen, find out what's important to them, and literally hold their hand. Here's another one, okay, that would also be relative to the economy. And what you want to do here is, this close is for the people that go, well, what if? Okay, this gets them focusing on their need. Okay, when they agree that the choice is positive, then you can ask for their business. So let's do this one for you. Based on our current economic news, nearly everything is either too bad for us or too good to be true. If we take all the information presented to us each day to heart, we'll never buy anything. Our economy would grind to a halt and we'd all suffer greatly. You're in a position to make a positive choice for your family or company, don't you agree? So you're trying to encourage them that things can get better and things will be better, and kind of like help pull themselves out of themselves. So remember how we talked on one of our previous sessions about optimism, and there are just some people that are naturally optimistic, and you may be dealing with some people that aren't naturally optimistic, and when you get a bad recession like this, it's hard to be optimistic and it's hard to have hope. But you want to come from the space in your heart that if you truly believe that your product can help them and help them now, then you want to really genuinely reach out to them to help communicate to them that, you know what, Ben, this is for you. I understand it's not something you're thinking about right now and you really don't want to like make the investment, but this is how it can help you. This is how it can help your family, and this is how it can help your business, and guide them through that and talk their language and talk to them about their business. You have to become the expert in their business for them at times. It can't be about you. It can't be about your product or service and trying to ram it down somebody's throat. You have to find a way that it generally will benefit. It will generally transform, create a positive outcome for them, help them sleep at night, and all those other things that we've talked about. But here at the end, you see how you are. You say, you're in a position to make a positive choice for your company. Don't you agree? And if they say, yes, you're right, if I make this decision, it could possibly help my company, then you're getting them a little bit over the hurdle. And then you need to walk through them and analyze and talk with them about the components. Just the big picture, not down into the weeds about, yes, if we get your team of 5 people together and I do a DISC assessment, and I can find out that one person that's creating some problems for you as far as getting the team to really move forward on that new project, think what will happen. You'll get that new project and you can go out and you'll be creating more sales for your company. So this is going to come from your conversation with them and your research with them. So I want to leave with you, because I know that these can be trying times, and what I'm sharing with you, my strong belief in using the voicemail, using the email, reaching out and talking to these people about how you can engage them emotionally, but also help them understand how they can rationalize a decision that will truly help them going forward their businesses in a time that innately they want to be a little bit conservative on holding on to those financial dollars for their business. That you have to show and justify that you can give them a strong ROI. But but here are some great 6 confidence building strategies. As some of you know, I've been an author. I've written 4 or 5 books, and this was, I was very blessed because Les Hewitt, and Mark Victor Hansen endorsed my book, and they gave me, and Jack Canfield gave me permission to share this with you today. So the 6 confidence building strategies. You can print this off, put it up next to your computer, and remind yourself of this every day. Every day, remind yourself that you did something well. It's like we talked about earlier in another session, the gratitude theory. When you get up in the morning, even before you get out of bed, you put your feet on the floor, talk about what you're grateful about today. At night, say what you're grateful for, and remind yourself, maybe you didn't make as much progress as you wanted, but give yourself credit and own the progress that you did make. Read inspiring biographies and autobiographies. It'll remind you of the hurdles and the frustrations and the things that other people had to overcome to get going forward in their life and being successful. Number 3, be thankful. Be thankful for those around you. Be thankful for nature. Be thankful for the fact that you're in good health. Number 4, build excellent support around you. In times like this, I would encourage you. I have a couple of groups that I'm involved with. We've recently started meeting outside with great social distancing, but you can also meet with friends on Zoom or Google Hangouts on a weekly basis just to touch base, find out with other small business owners how are their businesses going. You can attend your chambers or like doing a lot of virtual coffee hour, I think, or lunchtime learning where they're sharing their war stories. But reach out and make sure you're not isolated. Push yourself to accomplish small-term goals on a daily basis. Decide, what 3 people are you going to call? What 5 people are you going to call? How many people you're going to email? Just set up a couple of small, 3 goals. How many phone calls, how many emails, and how many follow-up? And number 6, do something for yourself every week. Something that I recently did. I really wasn't into it that much, to be honest, but my daughter was, and then my son got me into it. And so I've been doing candles. So I actually have, not now, but I have a candle sometimes going in my office, and it's kind of like it gives you the scent of the candle, and it's just something to kind of be a little bit inspiring. It's something different. I also have a sound machine, so I love the ocean, and I could put the ocean music in the background. If you're doing any writing for your business, they've done studies, by the way, you want to have classical music playing in the background. So those are some mini ideas for you. So I'm wishing you a really great week to take some of these things into account. We're going to download the materials from the membership site for Modular 2 on the Strong Sales Tools, which includes the 3 lessons we've talked about. There'll be a video recording. I'm going to turn the presentation into a PDF. There'll be some extra modular handouts for you that will also be on the membership website. So again, remember to reevaluate your current and your future business model. Block your calendar for Modular 3 to look on customer retention. Apply this information to your business this week, and reach out to me via email, sweet@turbochargesales.com, with any questions from Modular 1 or Modular 2. And I really want to wish you all to have a great week. Remember to stay on task. Remember to keep your goals. Remember not to be too hard on yourself, but to keep trying. And if you have that passion and knowing that you have something of value to offer to your customers, find those customers, reconnect with the ones that maybe you currently aren't doing business with, and then also ask them for referrals, find some new customers, and look into some new areas where you can genuinely expand your business. Have a great week. It's an honor to help you on your journey. Thank you. Take care. Eleanor Sweet. Bye-bye.